in this talk we are going to learn the basic approach. Like in this talk like our motive is to learn, like if we are going to start bug bounty hunting, then what should be our approach, the method to get a bounty easily. I won't be teaching like how to go for SQL injection or SRF bug or CSRF. No, that is not the motive of this talk. But the main motive is like the problem which is faced by all the beginners. Like when I have also been in this field like from beginning, so I was also facing problem like how to approach to a target, how to make my all the findings valid, not like not out of scope and not applicable and all like that thing. So our motive is to understand the proper methodologies and approach so that we can start our bug bounty hunting easily, and we can easily try to have a bounty also from that. So before starting, just okay, so let me give you my introduction. So I am working as an application security engineer at Bansal LLC. I'm also a part of CNAC Red Team, and I'm also a full-time bug bounty hunter. So in this talk, we are going to learn from the basic. That is the first thing. What is bug bounty hunting? Because many of you may not be knowing about like what we're going to see in this talk. Then we go for the bug bounty platform. See, basically, what is happening. Many of you are like knowing about all the type of bugs and the vulnerability which we need to report, but we don't know about like in which platform we should start with, in which platform is for like for everyone. Every single bug hunter can't hunt on every platform, so you need to make a clear mindset. Okay, I will be going for this particular platform only. So I will be giving you some basic insight about all the platforms, so that you can start testing on a particular platform only. Then we'll be going for a scope review, and the most important thing is the like if we are starting this bug bounty, we need to have a like proper like in which company program we should start with. So this is a problem which is faced by everyone. Like in my time, when I was also a beginner, I also I was very confused like how to start, in which program I need to start testing and all. So I will be giving you a proper like basic insight like how we can just choose a program which is very not that hard for me also, and I can easily score a bounty from it. Then we'll go for the most important thing, that is how we can improve our recon, because recon is very much like it is very important for any like if you're going for bounty stuff and all, you need to increase your attack surface. So for that you need to have a clear step like how you can go on and increase your attack surfaces. You can also try to just get more endpoints so that you can make your like you can go and test more and more and you can easily report a bug from that. Then at last we'll be seeing the manual testing approach. Like in my case, I don't go for automation. Like I have seen many of the beginners, they are just going for automation script. They are just using all the bash script which are in open source community. But from like if you see my like from me, this automation is like not that good, because in automation what is happening, we are missing many things. So according to me, I think manual testing approach is best for everyone. So I will be giving a short brief like how you can start to like if you want to go from the testing part manually, then how you can start that. So let's start. So the first one is, what is bug bounty hunting? So I won't waste that much of time like explaining everything about this. What is bug bounty hunting? But I will give up like a simple example. If you are going to search on internet also what is bug bounty hunting, I am sure like there are many things available for that. But basically what happens is, if a company wants that their application need to be like for example, if a company don't have like if a company has employees of only the software background, then they what they do, they just post their program on some platform, let's say Bug or HackerOne. See, depend like if company has so much of revenue, then also they will be hosting the program. If they don't if they don't have that much revenue, then also they can host a program on the platform. So what happen if any freelancer or any bug bounty hunter can go there and they can start testing on their platform, and if they find any bug on their platform, if they can exploit the that bug, then the company will pay them, like pay them in like if the company is like is have funds and all, then they will paying you. If they don't have funds, then they will just send you some swag, some gift pack. Some of the company will paying you hall of fame also. So it depend upon like these things. So let's go for the main thing, that is the approach and the methodology. So the first thing is the platform. So for a bug bounty hunter is like the first step to choose a platform for you. Like in my case, like I have seen many platforms like Bugcrowd also. I have been hunting on Bugcrowd also. I was hunting on HackerOne also. I was hunting on Integrity also. Yes, we have also Hack and Proof also, and like I've tested on each and every platform. So if you are like if you are knowing all the like things, like you know about this all like SSRF, SQL, all the top vulnerabilities like which have very impactful vulnerabilities, you can say, then you can go for HackerOne. Okay. Now the third one is Integrity. So Integrity is a new platform, but it is growing nowadays, and yes, it has not that much thing to like if you want to explore this platform. But yes, nowadays I am seeing like many hunters are going for hunting on Integrity also, and they are just like they are having like they can easily try to just find a program. Like see what happened basically in bug bounty. The first thing is you need to have a program, like the programs should be best for you. So in Integrity we have like their out of scope is much more like in compared to Bugcrowd. So the chances, like of course the new hunters won't get that much from it. So if you're up like if you know about all the concept of every vulnerability, then only you can hunt on Integrity. Plus there is a language problem also in Integrity. So sometimes what happen, many of the like who are not knowing about the language, like how you can just for example, if anyone is outside the of India and all, and they don't know about these languages, then they can't hunt on that. So the crowd will be less on Integrity. So if you are a beginner, then you can also start to try on Integrity. The same case go for Yes We Hack. In Yes We Hack, what is happening since the program, this platform is new to many of them, so there is not that much crowd. So you can also try to start testing on Yes We Hack, or you can go for Hack and Proof also. But one thing keep in mind, if you are starting a platform, then just be constant on that platform. Like don't make account on every platform, and like I have seen everyone is like just going for every program they are seeing in Bugcrowd, in HackerOne, Integrity. Yes, we are, no, don't go for that, because see what will happen if you are just trying to hunt on a single program, then you will learn how that application is working. So maybe not now, but maybe after 2 to 3 days you can start testing on it again, and maybe you can find a bug, because you have been learning about the functionality of that program, like of the application daily. So you are like, if for example, if I am testing a platform for 1 day and you're testing for like around 1 week, so you know more than me on that application, like how the application is behaving and all. So the chances for finding a vulnerability will be more for you. So always stick to a program. Then comes the like Hack and Proof has also some program like in web, in mobile, in iOS. So if you are like hunting on the platform, then you can start with Hack and Proof also. Then one more thing is like we need to also see the out of scope things in every platform. So if I will see like HackerOne has more out of scope also, but yes, if you are like knowing the impactful bug, I told also that thing earlier. So if you know about the bugs which have more impact, so you can go for HackerOne. But if you're a beginner, then I think you can go for Hack and Proof. Yes, we have, because there is less crowd in that. Okay. So now the main thing is like, okay, you have been knowing like, okay, these are the platform you can start with, but the main thing is the scope review and how you can select a program for you. So the first thing what we do, like in my case, what I just first check the focus area. Like if you are in Bugcrowd, you are testing on Bugcrowd and any other platform, they make a focus area like, okay, these type of vulnerabilities they only want. Like for example, if in a program XYZ, let's say, if we are saying like, okay, they only want like IDOR, then XSS, then SQL. So I will be trying to see like, okay, if I know these vulnerability or not. So if I know about this vulnerability, then I can start testing on that uh, that okay. If for example I don't know about SQL, then I can learn that thing. Then only I can start on that, because that program focus is only on this three vulnerability only. So you need to first check the every information which is available for that program. because sometimes what happen, we don't know about like the focus area of that program, and if you are reporting any other vulnerability, then they won't accept that. It will be NA. Okay, so if you want that your submission should be not NA, then you can just go for and read these things first. I know it's time taking, it's boring, but this is the best thing you can do to avoid this anything. Okay. Now comes the in scope and out of scope. See, if you are starting to test a program, then you will be seeing things like in scope and out scope thing. So in scope means like all the like applications URL which is in scope, you can test that thing. So and all the out of scope target you can't test. So you need to first analyze like, okay, these are the particular URLs or the things which are in scope, and I can test on that thing only. So if that in scope list is more than the chances for, if you are going for a like you are a beginner and you want to start testing, and if the in scope is small, then of course because there are more like there are like if you're on bug crowd, let's suppose that, and there are many hundreds testing on that same program, then the in scope list is small, so you won't just if you're trying also to find a sequel also, then that bug will be also reported earlier. So you need to first see like if the in scope list is big, like they have more like if they have like if the scope is big, then you can start testing on that target. Okay, if the scope is small, then for now leave the target, because you're a beginner, you don't know that much in compared to all the other hunters who are already in the field. So to compete, like okay, we can compete with anyone, but yes, you need to compete with your level only now for that. So just check that if your scope is like more compared to other program. Now the main thing is which everyone is saying me like, okay, I am going like you are all hunting on a platform, you are hunting on any program, but they are like after reporting bugs, they don't get any response. So check the average response time before starting to test. Like okay, if any programmer has said okay, they will be just like after 3 days, you will be surely be like if the bug accepted, then they will mail you, or if it's not accepted, then also they will mail you. Like they have a proper time. Like if the platform like Bugcrowd, HackerOne, Integrity, they have proper. But if you are going for any personal program, like if any company has hosted their program on their site only, then sometimes they don't like after you have reported, then maybe they don't be like for example your bug is valid, they will be patching the bug, but they won't reply you. So you need to first check their like average response time. You can mail them like okay, if you're having the active program or not. Like sometimes what happen if a company has hosted this bug bounty program and now they are not active. So if you're testing on that site, then you're wasting your time only. So please just mail them okay, just a formal mail like okay, you are going to test on their platform, and yes, if you have an active program available now, then please send the updated scope and all. Okay, so they will be sending you everything. If they don't reply, then don't start testing on that platform. Simple. Now check the payout and how many money reported. Now this is a thing. Like if you're on Bugcrowd or Hackerman, then they have a like they have made a list like okay, like these many vulnerabilities have been reported, and the payout also. Like how much they are paying for each, like P4, P3, P4, P1, P2. So you need to first see the payout and how many vulnerabilities are reported, because you can make your approach according to that. I will be giving you some like basic knowledge of how we can make a approach for that now. But for now, you need to first see the payout and how many vulnerabilities are reported. So that is a like a full like how you can do a scope review thing and how you can select a program for you, which is best for you. Okay. Now comes the recon methodology. Just a minute. Now see, basically what is happening for everyone who is going to start this bug bounty hunting, they don't see like they don't want to learn this. Okay, but the recon is a very most important thing. If you are in hacking, like many of you like only want like hacking, we are a hacker and all, we are ethical hacker. They say they just things only. So in a hacking way, if you want to understand, then the first phase of hacking is only in information gathering. So if you don't know how to do a recon, then you are like you can't start like hunting. You can't do like you can't like do anything. Okay, so first thing is just these are some myths which I have seen. Recon won't give you any bug. Okay, like recon is not for like you are doing recon, so you'll be just like doing you're just finding something and you can report. No, recon is not for that. Recon is for increasing your attack surfaces. Like for example, if you have a particular endpoint, then you can increase, you can go and go deeper and deeper into the application. You can find some more endpoints. Then you can start touching on that endpoints also. So that is for Recon. One more thing is like I have seen many of them automating Recon. Yes, it's good to automate Recon, but first try manually also. Like you can do both. You can try manually also and you can do automation also. And the most important thing is like don't see like okay, for example, you want to start testing on a program, then don't just do like everything you are seeing. Like for example, you want some part of things only for testing. So basically what happened, we like as a beginner we see like okay, I can do a full recon, like I can just try to get everything out of that domain. Yes, it's good, but the thing is if you don't know how to use that information for the further testing, then it's waste of time for you. Like you are doing everything, like you are finding every information about that particular company or that particular application, but since you can't use that thing in your like further testing, then it's waste of time. So basically what you need to do, you need to be very organized with this. One more thing is like I have seen many of them like telling okay, I am reporting a bug and it's out of scope, it's not applicable any, you can say. So why it is happening? Because we don't see a scope. As I have told, like in scope and out scope thing in the like what happened, basically we don't see like okay, that domain is small scope or medium scope or large scope. So basically in my case I follow the scope, like every scope I just follow that scope thing. So the first one is small scope recon. So it's small scope recon, what happened, we are giving they only give a URL list, okay, and we need to test according to that list only, like on that particular single URL only. Don't go for any other thing, okay. If they have given any XYZ thing URL, then you can only test on XYZ. You can't go for their other part if there is anything related to the company. No, you can't go for it because I think small scope target. If you go for medium scope, then we have wildcard domain. So you need to add some, like you can do all the things, like if you are doing small scope, then you can add this in your medium scope, but you can add some more because the wildcard domain, so you can find some more things. Now comes the large scope recon. In large scope recon, everything is in scope. Like the companies, everything, like anything which is related to a company can be tested and can be reported. So if you get anything like that, okay, then you can just, for example, you can test everything, you can report everything, and they will be giving you bounty for that. One more thing, like there's two period, like before recon and after recon. You know about that. So before recon, what we know, and after recon what we can be like, we can try to know that. So before recon we only know about the company name, the company information, some of the endpoint which is given. Basically with the company main domain is given for like testing and all, the scope item you can say. But after recon, you can try to get some hidden endpoints, some more APIs and all. You can get like the all like for example, if the application is Android or web, and then you can try to get a framework on which they are working, their server information. You can get many things after recon. So you need to properly analyze everything. One more thing is like what we do, we don't do manual recon sometimes, but in my case I will be suggesting like go for both. Like you can do the recon manually also, or you can do the recon automated, but you can combine these two. Like for example, in background the automation is going on, and in the, like in the front on your laptop you can try things manually also. So it will be like you will be able to know about your target also, because and in automation if anything you miss out in manual thing, then you can just go for the automation, all the recon data which is available. So that is the best thing which you can do to like don't miss anything like in your target. Because for example, if I'm missing anything in your like for in a particular URL, then maybe any other hunter can come and they can start testing on, then they can get a bounty. So before leaving a program, do a proper recon, find every endpoint and start testing on that. And after you are like fully clear, like okay, there is nothing left in this program, then move ahead. Okay. So as I was telling, like we are doing recon manually also, but we can also automate recon. So for automating recon, we have many tools available. Like we have in open source, but the best one is the Beam tool by Harsh Bothra. The second one is Recon FTW, and the third one is Osmedius. See, in the Beam tool, they have made the things very simple for you. They have all like small scope, medium scope, and like okay, small scope, medium scope, and large scope. So if like you're following the method which I have been telling, like, okay, you can go for this scope recon technique only, then you can use this Beam tool. Now this recon FTW is very, very good. Like I have been also trying to automate things from this, and you can get some juicy information. You can get some endpoint because he has like like he has mixed up every tool properly, and because of that, of course, it will take time for that because it's like they have combined more than like 10 to 20 tools here. But yes, after like 2 to 3 hours, if you are scanning this, then you will be getting a very good recon result. And if you are like know about like how you can use that recon things for like testing the application, then yes, you can use this one. The third one is Osmedius. It is not that old, but also but not that new. But it is also like if you want to automate recon, then you can start for example, you can also use Osmedius. But in my case, I think Recon FTW and Beam tool is more than enough for you. But the thing is, don't be limited for one tool only. You can try new tools because every day I have seen like many tools have been launched. You can try and the tool which best fits you. Like okay, in my case, if I'm telling like Beam and Recon FT is the best tool for me, so that is for me. If you are like a beginner, you can explore every tool, and if you think like okay, Osmodeus is a tool which is for you only, then you can start with that. And one more thing is like don't blindly start using any automation tool. Like I know like it's fun doing automation, and yes, I have seen many of them are getting bounty from it, but that bounty is not always because after some time because everyone is automating. Okay, so the difference between you and him is nothing, like zero. In manual, what is happening, my approach will be different in compared to you. Like if any of my friend is also testing on target, and we both are automating, but the thing which I am doing manually, he can't do that because he don't know about my approach. So always keep a manual approach also, and apart from that, in background you can run automation for getting good result. Okay, so that is a thing for recon. One more thing, don't compile data, which I have been telling for like more than what I've been saying. So what you can do, I will just give you a short info like how you can do a recon. For example, you are getting a domain xyz.com. So basically what we do, we go for like for example, it has small scope. Okay, so you can use some tool, let's say Arjun, Gao, and you can just get some more endpoint from that. Okay, now after getting the endpoint, you can just sort it out. If you want, then you can just filter out the active domain, active endpoints and all. Then after that, you can go for the tool known as GF tool, or I think there's one more tool is the GF pattern. So in GF pattern, there is a function like they will be sorting all the endpoint according to, like for example, if you want to test SRF, SQL, so they will be sorting all the endpoint and they will be making a folder for you in that. So now what is happening basically, I know like in start we don't go for that much recon of course, but at the beginning now see I'm doing a very small thing in recon. Like I'm just taking one taking any URL, I'm sending it to Gao, Arjun, or any other tool. I'm getting all the endpoints. I'm sending it to GF pattern. I'm getting a like for example, if I want to try the SQL injection, so SQL injection endpoints I'm getting. Now from that I can send, I can start testing manually also. Like I can send all the endpoints to the above suit, or I can, if I want to do automation now also, like after I have automated everything, if I want to automate things now also, then I can just go for the tool for SQL injection. I can use that thing also. So this is a like a proper like you need to use everything which you are getting. Okay, don't like for example in Osmedius, if you see, there are many things which I also don't know about. Like if we are getting any endpoints extra, like they are doing some scanning part and all, if I don't know about these things, for example, then it will be like the waste of time also. Like it will take time to scan that things also, and after that I am not able to use that thing. So that is a waste of time. So don't do that. Okay, make a clear script for your account. Like okay, these things you need to do, and the main thing is what you are aiming for. Like if you are starting for going for like you are going to just fetch the endpoints, then after that what you are going to do? Make a proper plan for that. Then only start recon. Okay. Now the last thing is the manual testing approach. Now the first thing is for a beginner is you need a proper checklist for this. So I have also made one checklist for a beginner. You can like if you are learning new like if you are just going to start this one, then you can just go and just see all the topics and then you can start finding things on the net. And yes, you can get everything on the internet. Okay, it's available for free on internet. But like if you're not a beginner, you're like you're hunting for like more and more, and now you're saying like okay, I'm only getting Hall of Fame and swag, and I'm like you are not that much clear like how to approach to target. So see, first thing is the main mistake is like you don't have proper checklist. The first thing. So for proper checklist, if I will be suggesting you can go for my checklist also, or you can follow the Buckler VRT. But in Buckler VRT, one thing is there like if you are seeing like the sometimes the bugs which are on the Buckler VRT, they are not accepted in HackerOne. So you need to proper analyze like which type of bug will be accepted on every platform. So if you are hunting on Buckler, then Buckler VRT is more than enough. If you're going for HackerOne, then just make a checklist out of the Buckler checklist and follow that checklist only. One more thing is like in bug bounty is different to pen testing. Okay, in pen testing we do every testing of every vulnerability which is present in the OS top 10. It's like low impact, full informational in anything. But in bug bounty we go like we see the impact only. Like okay, if that vulnerability has some impact or not. So in that case, you don't need to like master everything for bug bounty. Like if you master two, three vulnerability only, like you are mastering XSS, then SQLi, or then SRF, IDOR, then with four vulnerabilities only, if you master these four only, for example, I'm not telling like okay, master these four vulnerability only. But if you master these four vulnerabilities, then of course you can get a bounty because you are mastering, you are seeing the behavior of the website, how it's reacting after you're just injecting a payload things and all. So you know about that thing. Okay. So in that case, I guess you will be scoring good bounty. Like in my case, what was happening, like in my time, like last year only, I have been doing this hunting. So I was facing like I was learning everything, like every vulnerability, SQL, XSS, then 2FA, auth misconfiguration, and every bug I was trying to test, and I was not getting any result. Okay. So at last, what I did, I just focused on one bug. The bug was two-factor authentication. So I tried to learn every technique to bypass this 2FA thing, and at last I was like getting a very good number of bugs from this only. So it is like you can also see like which vulnerability suits you best. Okay, I like you see it's like in every like I have seen every hunter has some their choice. Like see you know, need to learn everything, but your favorite vulnerability, like the vulnerability in which you have hands on, like you know, like okay, I'm expert in this vulnerability, then you can go and brush up that vulnerability more and more for this hunting. For bug bounty only, for pen testing, for corporate job, you need to learn everything. But for bug bounty, 2C vulnerability will be working. You can test that vulnerability on every side. When you are confident with that thing and you want to learn more, then you can take a break from this hunting and then go for like break, and in break you just read some more about the vulnerabilities, other vulnerabilities, not that same vulnerability, and then you can learn every vulnerability day by day. Because the like only learning will won't help you. You need to practice also. So learning practice, then learning practice is a very best approach for that. Now comes the manual testing, of course. So if you are like having a burp suit, then with burp suit we can do like every testing part, every vulnerability we can test. So what we need to do, we just need to capture the request, okay, using burp suit. Then there is an inbuilt burp scanner in the burp suit, so you can just send that request to burp scanner, and you can just start the active scan. So active scan is an extension in burp, so you can use that thing. So active scan, what is happening if any endpoint is like if they see if any endpoint is having SQL injection vulnerability or access, see it, like it can be false positive also. Don't just see like okay if the burp suit scanner is saying okay there is a vulnerability, you know reporting. No, first cross check that thing. Of course, I have seen many of them like they are just going for the burp scanning part, and after they are finding the core vulnerability, like I've seen many times the cores is been showing in this active scan after I'm doing an active scan thing. So cores need to be exploited. You can't just report a course by seeing it in an active scan. You like you need to explain that thing. So you need to first know about that, like okay, if I'm seeing this IDOR or SQL or let's say crosshead, so you need to test that thing, exploit, and then report with a Power POC. So now after I have set it with active scan, now I need to look. For example, if I am testing for SQL, so I will be injecting some command of SQL. I will testing like if I am getting any error or not, and then I can start like pasting some payload for the SQL injection, and I can try to get if I can just try to exploit the SQL injection. For example, if you are going for like let's suppose IDOR, so for IDOR there are two extensions available: authorize and auto repeater. So you can send your request to authorize, like, and you can just do some automation. Like it is not full automation, but you can semi-automate things from this authorized one. If you're going for accesses, then I don't hunt for access, but I think there are some extensions for access also. But the approach is same. Like you need to capture the request from the burp to send that request to burp scanner and do an active scan. After that, if you're getting any endpoint, like okay, if that endpoint is having SQL or XSS or any other vulnerability, then you can start testing on that vulnerability manually. And for like sometimes like for access, we have one extension, so you can use that extension also. For IDOR, I have been using authorize and auto repeater. So you can also use that thing. And it's a very best tool. Like you'll be not like they won't automate everything. Like okay, you got test for IDOR, but they will give you idea like okay, this can be done. So you can you'll be getting idea like okay, IDOR is available, so I can try to exploit that vulnerability. So of course, full automation is not possible in Buffalo also, but since it will be helping you to get a vulnerability easily, so you can try to explore every like single extension, and the extension which best fits for you, you can just install that thing and you can start using that. Also, if you're testing for SSRF, like I have seen many of the beginner, they want to get a bounty from SSRF, and I have been testing SSRF from last 2 3 months. I have reported on CNEC also and on some RDP program also. So for SRF, if any like parameter is like you're seeing like okay, if something like for example, you got a parameter, let's say URL equal to xyz.com/URL equal to. In that case, you know that from backend it is fetching data. So if you can use burp, like there's if in pro version, I guess there's a link, you can just use that link, and then with that, if any IP address has been traced, okay, in the form of HTTP, means something is from like from backend is like they are giving some response. So in that case, you can just try to test for SRF. And also, if there's a SRF print, then you can also try for OS command injection. Also, you can just paste the command like OMI and like any command like that. And if you get in anything, then you can change it to RC also. Sometimes what is happening, you can also try blind attack like blind SQLI, blind SRF also. So it depend upon, but you can do manually everything. So don't try to automate everything. You can start with manually also. But for example, if you want to automate things, then the GF pattern is the best thing. As I have explained, like if you know about GF pattern, you can automate every stuff from that. Okay. So, but yes, at a point after getting the URL, it is your task to do manually. So after some time, you need to start doing things manually. But for example, if you want to automate SQL injection, then for that you need to first take a domain, find their like every endpoints and all from Go, way back, Arjun, everything. Then just sort like compile that thing, and you can then send it to GF pattern. GF pattern will filter out all the SQL parameter. Then after that you can use SQL map. This is for the SQL injection vulnerability. If you are testing for SRF, you can also automate SRF. You can also automate access also. Like for access, there are tools also available, so you can like the same thing is like the same thing you need to follow, and there are tools available for access. For SRF, I have seen like I haven't automated SRF till now because I love to exploit manually only. But I think if you try to do some, like you can just find something on Google, then I think you can automate SRF bug also. But the thing is, the chances for getting the false positive will be more. So if like you are a beginner, you want to learn, you want to explore things, then please just go for the manual testing approach. Okay. And like for beginners, I will be giving a suggestion that you can start testing, like if you're testing for vulnerability, then go for these bugs like CSRF. Then you can go for IDOR, you can go for 2FA bypass, you can go for auth misconfiguration. So these are some easy vulnerabilities which you can learn easily also, and you can get a bounty also from that. And the main thing is go for the depth reading, okay? Because if you don't go for depth reading, then you can't change to vulnerability. Like for example, if I'm getting any HTML injection, then in my case I can change that thing to SRF. But if you don't know about how like we are going to test and all, then it is very like hard for many to change things. So you need to learn chaining of vulnerability also. So you need to, for that you need to go for like we have H1 like HackerOne has all the reports present. So you can start reading all the report. You can make a note from it. Like in my case, I make notes from HackerOne report. The checklist which I have made is also from HackerOne reports only. Like I used to read 100 report daily, and after that I just follow every endpoint which is given. I made one checklist from that. So you can also do that thing. You can make your own checklist and try to uh, like uh, do all things manually in compared to automation. Okay, so it will be like if you are going for manual thing, then of course the crowd is trying to do things with automation, so all the things will be same. But since you are doing manually, you are crawling all the things manually, then also you are getting more endpoints. Then it's very good for like you can also try to like if in job also it will be helpful for you. Okay, so that's all. If you have any doubt, then you can also contact me on my handle. And if you have not any doubt, then I can just we can have one thing like wait.